All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Going to be breaking down this massive 11-game slate here for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. And so, guys, typically speaking, I would give you guys a game-by-game breakdown here, but because it's such a big slate, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some of the top plays that we are currently getting. We do have a lot of stars that could potentially end up sitting in this game, guys. Luka is currently questionable, listed as out. He had personal DNP in last night's game for the Lakers. It is a back end of the back-to-back for them. I'm actually wondering if he'll play and if LeBron will sit. Obviously, that would change a lot there. Wemby's still out. Giannis is actually out, and I think that's actually a good starting point for this video, guys. So with Giannis sitting tonight, the price tag that we're getting on Kevin Porter Jr. is just simply wrong. Like, I don't really understand why this was an oversight. You could actually argue that the price that we're getting on Ryan Rollins is also still a little bit too low at 7.9 in a good matchup for him. But let's just go ahead and get into Milwaukee, guys. One of the better values that we are getting right now is going to be Kevin Porter Jr. 5.6x is what he's projected to get. Projected to get 32 minutes, 25 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. He ends up looking like a very solid play overall. What's interesting is I actually think we could see him get more minutes than what he's projected to get. Same thing with Ryan Rollins, guys. I think he is someone that can end up getting more minutes than what he's projected to get. And then a play that the data doesn't like as much as I do, that's actually Jericho Sims, who is projected to get 30 minutes. If he ends up getting 30 minutes in this game, I think that is just one of the better value plays on the slate at 3.8. Now, it is worth calling out maybe Bobby Portis gets going, maybe Kyle Kuzma gets going, and talk about getting going, guys. AJ Green has been shooting the basketball extremely well, and then Miles Turner, he is someone that you would kind of hope would get more than 29 minutes here. And so on a big 11-game slate, I don't know if we necessarily want to load up on all these Bucks plays, but they are pretty darn good. Like Kevin Porter Jr., again, at 6.6, too cheap. You look at Jericho Sims. I don't know if we necessarily want to eat up a center spot for him, but if he does indeed end up getting 30 minutes, he becomes very appealing. I actually really like the pick and roll action that he had with Kevin Porter, but also Ryan Rollins. And so he's very interesting. Right now, I actually think he's one of the better center plays that we can get to on this slate. And so I do think I want to begin to about two of those Milwaukee Bucks plays. Then from there, guys, Devin Booker is actually going to be out in this game here for the Phoenix Suns. And so with him being out, I actually think Dylan Brooks in a little bit of a revenge game, if you want as well, going against Houston. I actually think he's in for a pretty good spot. His usage is like 40% with Jaylen Brown off the court. He averages 40 fancy points as well per 36 with Devin Booker off the court. I think that tells us everything we need to know about Dylan Brooks. But yeah, he is shooting the basketball a bunch. I actually really think he's a decent play here. I actually bet on his over points. Hopefully that ends up hitting. But he's someone that I do think we should be looking at here again with Devin Booker off the court. Colin Gillespie is someone that's pretty interesting as well if we're trying to search for maybe a sub 7K play that can give us 40 DFS points. But I think at that point, we just want to begin to Dylan Brooks. I really do like that price tag for him. And then from there, guys, let's just go ahead and take a peek at the players that are currently the best projected values on the slate. So Kelly Olynyk, projected to get 18 minutes, is actually popping up as one of the better values, which I find interesting. I don't necessarily see that as a must play. Aiden and Reeves are somewhat interesting plays. Again, I think LeBron and also Luka could potentially sit in this game. If they do, then I think we could be looking at those two, but I don't necessarily need to get to them. And then like Jake LaRivia would actually end up being a very good value for me on this slate if those players do end up sitting. Andrew Nembhard's definitely an interesting play here, guys. In this very high scoring game going against the Chicago Bulls, the second highest scoring game on the slate, the top game is going to be Orlando versus Miami. Ideally, we would like to get to some plays for Miami, but we're not necessarily getting any great values there. In terms of overall points, this is how crazy the slate is right now. Jokic, top points, and then Josh Giddey actually projected to get the second most points on the slate. And then Reeves, and then SGA, and then Maxey, and then Cade Cunningham. So yeah, to me, that's pretty crazy that Giddey and Reeves are the second and third projections in terms of highest points on the slate. But I don't mind Giddey as a play. Like, it is a way to get some exposure to this very high scoring game, and it is a pretty good matchup for him. Like, I don't mind this. The issue is we do need him getting closer to 50 or 60 if we're playing him, right? And I do think he has a good chance to get there in this, again, pretty appealing game. If we're playing him, though, I actually don't mind the idea of getting to Andrew Nembhard as well, who has been playing well recently. He's probably priced up a little bit too much, but again, the appeal is going to be the game here, the very high game total, and it should be a game that stays close. I think Vucevic is in play to go for 40. Don't hate him as an option. Siakam his price has come down because he hasn't been having as many ceiling games, but really not a terrible click as well. I just don't know if we necessarily need to get into all those plays that much. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a first look build, and then I'm going to show you guys what the data is telling us, because again, it's a pretty big slate. We know stuff will change throughout the day, but I think I can set you guys up pretty well. And then as the day progresses, we can make some adjustments based on some news that comes out. And so I'm actually going to get into Dylan Brooks as a small forward. If you guys want to play Gillespie or even Grayson Allen, I think into one of those two plays is somewhat appealing. Maybe a little bit of a risk of a blowout there for sure, but I do want to get to one of those two. Brooks is going to be shooting the basketball a bunch. He's a play that I could get off of as the day progresses, though. Jalen Tyson's also somewhat interesting, guys. So Cleveland is pretty darn banged up. Jaron Allen is out. Darius Garland is out. Sam Merle's out, Max Strus is out. And so he has been someone that's been getting more run. I do think there's a good chance that we are able to get to 30 plus DFS points at a cheap price tag here for Jalen Tyson. And so I'm fine playing him in the shooting guard spot. He's more of a placeholder. Like, I think I will be updating that as the day progresses, but also not terrible. Another play that I think is somewhat appealing right now is Peyton Watson. And again, this is a play that I think we could upgrade as the day goes on, but this is a game against Atlanta that could end up being a blowout, don't get me wrong, but with Strus, with Gordon, and with Strawther out, Peyton Watson has been playing a lot of minutes, and the production has been there as well. We know he has the upside to go off. I'm not expecting him to ever get 55 points again DFS wise this season, but he has been pretty solid for about 30 DFS points with those players off the court. So again, more of a placeholder, but for now I'm kind of fine getting to him. And then we have a 5.8 left over. I'm fine getting to like Jake LaRivia right now, assuming that maybe LeBron sits. Again, I could be completely wrong about that. And then strangely enough, guys, we find ourselves in that Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie spot, and I'll just go with Colin there. $200 left over. Again, this is going to change a lot throughout the day, but it's also not a terrible build. A lot of safer floor plays. But let's go ahead and see what the data is telling us are the best builds. So I'm only going to run 20 lineups here, guys. We're going to do a min value of 4, nothing too crazy there, but we're just going to go ahead and run this and see what spits out to us as the top build. All right, and so as you guys can see, with this very high, or with this 11 game slate, we are going to have some pretty darn good lineups. Now, this stuff is all stuff that I think will change throughout the day. Like, I don't necessarily see Cole Anthony as like a great play, but min price, not terrible. I've seen Josh Giddey, Reeves, KCP, John Collins, who has been getting more run recently. Don't hate that. DeAndre Ayton, Cole Anthony, Tobias Harris, Kevin Porter. Let me go ahead and get into the next line. It is trying to get to a lot of like min price value. That is something that we can adjust as the day goes on. So like Kelly Olynyk, which I don't necessarily like, he's popping up in there. Again, we could adjust that. I would rather get to Jericho Sims, as I mentioned. But you guys kind of get the point. We are going to get some pretty darn high game totals here. Kamara is something that I do like as well, guys. At 5.8, I would actually probably go back in and adjust the lineup that I gave you guys to fit in Kamara. I feel like he's going to be a safe play. I don't mind the idea of getting to some of the Portland plays, but he's the one that I probably like the most considering his price tag. And so a lot of options today, guys. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Good luck with all your lineups today. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys like access to that NBA DFS lineup builder, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to that tool and all the tools on the website for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.